Welcome to Biology and Bioengineering Summer Camp, BBSC 2021.
Welcome to Proteomics Facility at IIT Bombay.
Hello everyone. So for the success of any proteomic experiment, sample preparation is the most crucial step. Sample preparation involves protein extraction, protein digestion, sample cleanup, and final mass spectrometry. Depending upon the experimental objective and type of biological sample, different protein extraction protocol can be used. Different biological samples could be bacterial pellets, cell pellets, or tissue sample. Today we will demonstrate you the protein extraction method for a tissue sample. Here we have already weighed amount of tissue. For this we will use urea lysis buffer, which is 8 molar urea. Appropriate volume of this buffer is added to the tissue. It is vortex for a few seconds and spin. After addition of buffer, the next step is homogenization, which ensures that tissue is completely light in the given buffer. So for this, now we will use sonication. For this, we are using probe sonicator. Whole procedure of sonication should be performed on ice. So after this sonication, whole of the protein will be extracted into the buffer. After sonication, it should be made sure that whole content is uniform and nothing is left without lysing. If any chunk of the tissue is left, sonication step can be repeated. Now the next step is to centrifuge so that we can get the clear supernatant. Centrifugation can be done for 15 minutes at 8000 times gravity at 4 degree. After centrifugation, tissue debris are settled down and clear supernatant can be collected. Now the supernatant should be collected in a clean fresh epitrough. This supernatant has all the proteins of this tissue. So this is the collected supernatant that have all the proteins. After getting this protein sample, now they can be taken for the downstream process such as protein quantification and quality check, or they can be stored for further use. In order to know the protein concentration in a given sample or to get the total yield of protein in a given sample, it should be quantified. Depending upon the type of lysis buffer used, various quantification method can be used. Today we will demonstrate you one such method, which is Bradford protein assay. Bradford protein is one of the common method used for protein quantification, and it is a colorimetric assay. Before performing the assay, firstly we should have a standard protein. The standard protein here we are using is bovine serum albumin, that is BSA. So here we have prepared serial dilutions of BSA, that is standard 1 to standard 5, and also one is blank, which will involve only the reagent, and here we have one unknown sample. Now to each of the tube, equal volume of Bradford reagent is added. After addition of reagent, now the tubes should be kept in dark for 5 to 10 minutes. Bradford reagent exists in two different forms. One, when it is unbound, it is in brown color, and then when it binds to protein, it becomes blue color. So the intensity of blue color is directly proportional to the amount of protein present in the given sample. It is basically based on the absorbance shift, which unbound form to bound form changes from 465 nanometer to 595 nanometer. So absorbance should be taken at 595 nanometer. Now after incubation, each sample is added to the plate. Preferably the sample should be added in duplicates. Now all the samples are added in the plate and then it is ready for taking the readings. For this we are using Multiscan Geo. Plate reader. The first step is to set the plate layout, which includes blanks and all the standards. Also the unknown sample. The next is protocol, in which absorbance at 595 is set. Measurement mode is selected to be precision. And also blank subtraction is set. After getting the absorbance values, the values can be exported. So here we have the absorbance values for all the standards, including standard 1 to 5 as well as the unknown sample 1. So here we have absorbance 1, that is OD1 at 595 and OD2. So firstly we will calculate the average absorbance. For all the sample, average absorbance is calculated. Similarly, for the unknown sample, average absorbance is calculated. So next step is to plot the standard curve for BSA. For this, sample amount and average OD to be taken. So here we have the plot for standard. Also the R square and equation is displayed, and we can see that we have got R square of 0.99, which means that we can use this equation for the quantification of unknown sample. Using the equation obtained, amount of the protein in the unknown sample can be calculated. So for the unknown sample we have to calculate X, and the absorbance obtained for the unknown sample would be as Y, as shown in the given formula. Since we have taken 2 microliter of unknown sample, so concentration would be half of it. Now we have got the concentration of our unknown sample. This is how we can get the protein quantified. Its concentration as well as yield can be calculated. Other than the Bradford method, there are several other methods such as BCA and 2D quant. So after getting the protein quantification, next procedure can be performed, such as SDS page or any other proteomic procedure. Quality of the protein in a given sample can be checked using a gel. For this, one-dimensional SDS page can be used. Here we will demonstrate you how to cast SDS page and how to perform the gel electrophoresis. For casting the gel, we need the casting apparatus and glass plates. The glass plates, one is thick plate, another is thin plate, and suitable sized comb is also required. Glass plates are fitted into the casting apparatus so that the space created between the thin plate and the thick plate can be poured with the gel solutions. For performing the discontinuous type of SDS page, 2 different gel solutions are required, which is one is resolving gel solution and another is stacking gel solution. For these 2 solutions, composition is different, such as this could be the composition of resolving gel and stacking gel. So the first step is to add the resolving gel solution inside the space between the plates and let it be solidified. After some time, now we can see that resolving gel is casted. Next we have to add the stacking gel solution. Now the stacking gel is added. Because we need to create wells inside it, now we will add the comb into the solution. Let it for solidification for some time. Now we can see the gel is casted. It is ready for performing electrophoresis. Now the casted gel is placed inside the electrophoretic tank along with SDS running buffer. Comb is removed to expose the wells so that the sample can be loaded. Suitable amount of protein is loaded for checking the quality. The sample can be loaded in duplicates along with protein ladder so that the molecular weight can be estimated for the proteins. Now we can see that the sample is loaded and it is ready to perform the electrophoresis. After setting the suitable voltage, start running. Here we can see that electrophoresis has started. It has to be performed for around 1 to 2 hours. So the gel electrophoresis may take around 2 hours, and after that, in order to visualize the proteins, it should be stained and de-stained to remove the extra stain. As the sample run would take some time to complete the electrophoresis, we are showing one of the demo gel to show how the samples look after electrophoresis. As we can see here, that clear bands in each sample are seen, which shows that the quality of the sample is good to take forward. So this is how to check the quality of the sample and to decide whether to take it forward or not. After getting the quality check, so sample can be processed for further downstream processing, which can be either gel based or in a gel free manner. For the mass spectrometric analysis, in order to identify the proteins in a sample, peptides are required. For getting the peptides, the protein sample should be first digested. Protein digestion can be performed in a gel free or a gel based manner. We will show you how to perform the in solution digestion, that is gel free procedure. So now, after quantification, suitable volume of the sample is taken for digestion. Before doing the actual trypsin digestion, we need to process through the two steps, that is reduction and alkylation of proteins. For reduction, here we are using TCEP, that is tris carboxyethyl phosphine. Appropriate volume of TCEP is added. The sample is properly vortexed and spun. After addition of TCEP, that is the reducing agent, it should be incubated at 37 degree for 1 hour. So after getting incubated at 37 degree, the samples would be reduced. So after incubation at 37 degree, reduction is happening. That means all the disulfide bonds are broken within the proteins. So now it's time to alkylate the sample. For alkylation, iodoacetamide is used. During the alkylation procedure, alkylation will block the thiol groups so that the disulfide should not be reformed. After this, the sample is properly vortexed and spun. To perform the efficient alkylation, the sample should be kept in dark for 10 to 15 minutes. So after completing the steps of reduction and alkylation, the next step is addition of trypsin for the digestion. So before that, the step is dilution, which means we first need to dilute the molarity of urea that was present in the initial sample. So the diluent is used for diluting the sample. Appropriate volume of diluent is added to the sample in order to dilute it. Before addition of trypsin, make sure that the pH is 8 so that trypsin can work properly. Now the next step is the addition of trypsin that could be added in the ratio of 1:30 to 1:50, which means that one part of the trypsin can be sufficient for 30 parts of protein. The sample should be vortexed properly and spun. And finally, for optimum protein digestion, the samples need to be incubated at 37 degree for around 16 to 17 hours. After 16 to 17 hours of incubation, the protein sample is completely digested, and then the sample is dried in order to get the peptide sample. These dried peptide can be taken further for mass spectrometry. For mass spectrometry, the peptide sample should be properly cleaned. To make sure that the sample is clean of various salts or other contaminants, the sample can be performed through the cleanup steps. For these steps we use C18 column. So these columns can be made using the C18 material within the tips, and then the sample is passed several times through the column. This column works on the principle of reverse phase chromatography. During several steps of passing the sample through the column, the peptides would be bound to the column, and then finally the peptide would be eluted. After the peptides are bound to the C18 column, they can be further eluted using different gradients of acetonitrile, and then the elutes is again vacuum dried and the sample can be taken for mass spectrometry.